The Sean Jimenez, Cleveland High School boys head coach, hanging out with me. Coach, I even did my hair for you. Look, I'm wearing a suit. You know, I'm trying to get sharp just to match your skill set. Usually you have something flashy. I mean, your sweatshirt's okay. You know, I get it. You're chilling at home. But the flashiest dresser there is when it comes to a basketball game. That's what you're known as. Do you know that?
I did not know that, but you know me, I like to dress up for games and haven't been able to put on a good suit in about 9-10 months.
Does that make you sad? I mean, usually you got the whether it be the big varsity letter with the C for Cleveland, or you got, you know, the electric blue sports coat. Man, you got it all going on.
Yeah, I have. I'm huge into dressing professionally for games, and that's something I learned from Fran Fraschilla, who he learned from Jeff Van Gundy, and it's just something that I love doing. You know, it's our game day. It's our day. I have our boys dress up too, but I'll tell you, I miss it, man. My stuff's getting some dust on it right now in the closet.
I'm with you. You got a big background, Sean, like huge. In fact, I didn't even know how big of a background it was until I had started talking with you and finding out your coaching tree and stuff. And, you know, whether it be in college and what you just mentioned with Fran and even some coaches now. Talk about that a little bit for people that maybe don't know kind of where you come from and where you've been, you know, coaching before you got here to Cleveland.
Well, shoot, it goes back to my family, Adam. A lot of people don't know, but my brother has been the AD at LSU, at Miami, Washington State. So he's been around. He's been the associate AD at all those places, and so he's 10 years older than me.
Okay, schools, you know.
Yeah, he has several national championship rings in basketball, and not basketball, but in football and baseball. But he played for Fred Romero in the mid '80s for at West Mesa High School in basketball, and so that's kind of how my background started. Plus, even before that, my dad played for Coach Tasker. So I really credit a lot to them on how I got started at the college level and became a manager for the Lobos with Fran Fraschilla. Was able to meet a lot of different people and friends that I still talk to this day at the college level. And being with Fran for 3 years, learned a lot. And to me, I think he's one of the best commentators out in the game right now.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Knowledge for the game, man. And still talk to him, still talk to Joe Dooley, who's a head coach at East Carolina, Darren Savino, who's associate head coach at UCLA. People don't know this too, but Troy Reaver, who was on Fran's assistant staff, he's the GM for the Detroit Pistons now. These are guys that I still talk to probably once a week or even more than that. So a lot of people I met with my Lobo days, not just who worked for the Lobos, but obviously people I've been in touch with other schools, Brian Dutcher at San Diego State, Leon Rice. I mean, just a bunch of different people, and then working for Coach McKay.
So you're saying that you're more connected than me. That's what you're trying to tell me.
No, I'm not trying. I never.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm not more connected than the real deal, man.
Yeah, you are. Everybody is. I've gotten to know you, you know, through the years more for Cleveland. Right. I covered you a little bit with Rio Grande, and to your demise, you wanted me to cover more Rio Grande back in the day. And I didn't. I know it, you know, I was with ProView and maybe we didn't do as much Rio Grande games. I know I've been apologizing to the entire state that I haven't been covering for the last few months. But we've got to know each other, man. I love your spirit and your energy. Your kids love you too, and they play hard for you. And some of the things you have done have not been done. For example, your record in the APS Metro tournament, which is like a really hard tournament to win. It's a field of 16 teams, and you've won it back to back. And what's your overall win percentage of that? It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, we won a lot of games. The past 2 years we won it, so we've been 8-0 the past 2 years. And I'll tell you, the Metro tournament.
So right now, I guess I forget what the whole year layoff here. You've won. You're right now current back-to-back champions of the APS Metro tournament, right?
Yeah, and I think that is by far the toughest regular season tournament besides the Hobbs Holiday tournament, where we've won back-to-back Hobbs Holiday tournaments too. And the APS Metro tournament, you know, it's 16 teams, and it's a tough battle every single night. You're playing the best team.
like, I mean, obviously, because you were talking about how your pops played for Tasker, winning in Hobbs in that tournament, it's like set up for them to win too. Like they don't take it too kindly that not only do you go win once, but then you come in and you win again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's funny is after we won the holiday tournament last year, Wallace Williams, who's my assistant coach, Wallace went up to their AD and said, "Are you guys going to invite us back next year?" And she goes, "Of course, Wallace. You guys won it twice. We want you back, even though you've won it twice." So it's that's a tough tournament too. You're playing teams from Oklahoma, Texas, and you're talking about 2 tournaments besides the state tournament that are some of the top tournaments, not just in New Mexico, Adam, but I'm talking about in the Southwest, because we've been invited to tournaments in Phoenix, California. These 2 tournaments are top notch, and you know what? To hold the crown at the end of the day, even just once, let alone back to back, it's tough, man. It's just a testament to the talent that I've had on my team and the coaches I've had on my team.
And it's been Cleveland has been the most successful program, and this is not a slight what I'm about to say, okay? It's the most successful boys program that has not won a state championship. Now, I say that with look, when you're going to go to the pit and you're going to win 3 games in 4 days, you've got to be good. You've got to be a little bit lucky. You've got to be healthy. Like, everything has to go your way. You could be the best team, and we've all seen the best team does not always win. Actually, most of the time does not always win in the pit. Things change, and you've come close. You've knocked on the door from being in the state finals to losing in the tightest of games I've ever seen in the semifinals in a couple of years. And so is that difficult, knowing that you've got the team that could win it and you're knocking on the door and you're this close, but you just haven't done it?
Adam, and this goes to before me too, when you're talking about Cleveland, Brian Smith's last 2 years there, and I'll just go over the last 6 years. There's no program that's been to 6 straight Final Fours and 2 state championship games. And that includes Brian Smith's last 2 years and my first 4 years here. And you're right. What Cleveland High School, we're knocking on the door. We're right there. I mean, you talked about the second thing about being a little bit lucky. There's no question. You look at 2 years ago when we played, or 3 years ago, when we played at Trisco in the state championship, we could have been knocked out against Volcano in the first round in the pit, and we could have been knocked out against El Dorado in the Final Four. I mean, we're down 5 in the last minute of both games, and we get several steals to come back. So we got lucky.
You guys were like you guys wanted to be down by 5 with a minute left. That thing.
And that's what's crazy is obviously we got some really good talent, man. We got some really good players, and everybody that coaches this game will tell you it's players that win the games for you. Now, coaches, obviously, we have our strategies. We do our things to put our boys in the best chance to win. But if you don't have those horses, you're not making 6 straight Final Fours and 2 state championship games. And yes, the ball has to bounce your way a little bit. It just does. I mean, at the end of the day, and that's why I love our state tournament. I think before Cruces won it last year, the few years before that, you know this better than me, it's been top or lower seeds that have won the state tournament, from Volcano Vista to Rio Rancho. It's been pretty crazy.
Well, you know what? You got to look at your district too. It's wild. Your district's like a Final Four in its own, with how good Rio Rancho's been. And obviously Trisco, everybody is probably like, is Josiah Ramos finally done? Thank God is Josiah Ramos finally off the Trisco Heritage, because he has been a nightmare to deal with. And obviously they won the state title, and Volcano Vista, and I swear Cleveland and Volcano Vista's basketball rivalry has developed into something special. Like, I know I've got to call a lot of those games, but it's fun though, night in and night out with that district, right?
Oh, the district's crazy. I think if you look at us in Volcano the past 2 years, we probably played 8 times. Every game has been decided by single digits and several overtime games. And then at Trisco, they were back-to-back, and heck of a program. And night in, night out, you talk about another tournament, the district tournament there is like a pre-state tournament when we're playing each other. And it's, you talk about it, it's no slight to any other district in the state, but there's no question that this is
so hard,
district, man.
Is like, you win the Metro tournament, you could win the district, you could win the district tournament, and none of that means anything, because when you're playing in the pit, like, anybody can beat anybody, and it's so close. And so, but that, I mean, for me as a media guy, that's fun. I mean, for you as a coach, it's got to be almost a nightmare to prepare for. But I know you have fun, right? The whole process is fun, I'm sure, right?
Adam, you know what? It was kind of a reality check last year when we're walking up the ramp after the Capitol loss. And usually when you're walking up the ramp, you're down, you're sad as a team that lost. You know what I mean? You're in the Final Four. You're that close to getting to the state championship to play Las Cruces, and you're walking up the ramp. Last year was just like, it was almost when we went to the locker room, there was no crying. There was nobody down. Everybody just looking at each other like, what? And we didn't know the pandemic was going to be what it is at that time, but we're just looking at each other, and it was almost like a summer league feeling to like, hey, all right, we got to get up tomorrow morning. We play La Cueva at 8 o'clock in the pit tomorrow morning for a summer UNM local team camp. But just getting back to that with preparing for it, I mean, you can say all you want about preparing for the state tournament, but there's nothing like it till you go down that ramp and you have 14,000 fans screaming and yelling at you. And the fortunate thing for us at Cleveland is we've been there several years in a row, and I think our boys know how to handle that. And that's why we've had success in the pit. Now, we haven't won the ultimate prize of winning it all, but I'll be honest, I think that's going to be coming down the road here sooner than later. I hope so.
You've got a ton of talent. Everyone knows that, but some kids that are just really working hard and that play both sides of what, you know, the football, basketball aspect of things. So you got Trey Ortega, Trey Watson, Jeff Davidson. I'm sure I'm missing some. I mean, maybe some other guys I don't know. But you and now everything's going to be crazy. Hopefully, if we could get in some football and then basketball, it's going to mix a little bit. Have you been able to talk with Heath Ridenauer a little bit, the head football coach? Are you guys open to sharing players during the season? Like, how does that work? How are you going into that, thinking about this?
Well, we sat down this feels like ages that we've been through this, but we sat down in the summer, and Heath's been awesome. I mean, the guy's a winner, but before that, he's a class act, man. He does things the right ways, and he is about Cleveland athletics, not just Cleveland football. And as big as their football program is, he's about everyone. So he called me up and said, hey, I want to make sure that these guys know that they can do both. Even if our seasons are on top of each other and we're playing basketball games on a Wednesday, Thursday, and then a football game on a Friday night. So we talked about it. We talked to those boys, and not just varsity kids. I probably have 15 kids that play football / basketball from C team on up, but we talked about it and we came up with a good plan. Obviously we came up with the plan when we thought basketball was going to be first. Now it might be football first, but I'll tell you this, it's a great relationship to have with him, because I know there's a lot of schools in this state that the football coach and basketball coach, believe me, are like this big time. Me and Heath, we get along, man. And we're going to make sure that we give the best opportunity for the boys, man.
That is so big for the kids, Sean. I love that you guys get along like that, because, you know, in the end, I'll tell you this, 2%, and you know this, that 2% of high school athletes go on to play college ball at whatever level, D1, D2, whatever, junior, JUCO. All right. And so, you know, for most athletes, it's, you know, it's about this time in their life that they'll remember forever, and these skill sets that they can learn from multiple coaches to take on with them. And so I think it's really important. I'm so glad that you guys do it. I know there are coaches that are working on it too, but like you said, there are some coaches that are going to butt heads about it. So hopefully people can work together. But man, it's been a lot of fun watching your program grow out. Before I get you off here, I just wanted to talk about a couple of your players like Nate Hasbury, and we'll be talking more with Sports Primo, just because he is such a good kid, and he's developed into this great player, and he's starting to get, I think, more attention that he deserves. And I also wanted to talk about Trey Watson, because I believe that not only was he the best basketball player, probably close, maybe you could probably put him in the best basketball player in the top 5 in the state in basketball and football. And that's just how good of an athlete he is. Talk about those guys real quick.
Well, let's talk about Nate Hasbury first. You're talking about a kid that is a 3.8 plus student. I mean, straight A's, almost 4.0. A yes or no, sir kid. Not maybe if not the hardest worker, one of the top 2 or 3 hardest workers on my team in practice and in games. The kid doesn't have a bad day. And what I mean by that, yeah, you might see him miss a shot, miss a dunk, blow a defensive assignment or something here. But the kid overall, when you look at his overall picture of his production year in, year out for us for the past 3 years, and actually 4 years for us at Cleveland High School, the kid produces. and he produces at such a high level. That's why college coaches at the next level are looking at him. And he's one of those few that are going to be in that. And I didn't know it was 2%. I thought it was 1%, actually. I didn't know your 2% was that high.
You could be right.
He's going to be one of those lucky in the top 2% where he's going to have a chance to go play at the next level. And not just because of his basketball skill, but because of the person he is and what he does in the classroom. And this is what I tell the boys. When you do good in the classroom, it opens up so many avenues for you. And you're talking about a guy that does everything for us. Adam, if I tell him to go guard the 5-man, he'll go guard the 5-man without a question. If I tell him, hey, you're going to be starting point guard tonight, he does whatever he needs for the team to win. And he's just a super kid to coach. And I'll be honest, this is one of the kids that I'm fighting for to make sure that we have a senior year for him, because I just couldn't imagine looking him in the eyes and telling him, you know what, Nate, we're not having a senior year, man. That would be tough to look at him in the eyes and tell him that.
I hear you. And I could talk about your whole team. I know you could talk about your whole team and the guys, and hopefully we'll be able to highlight everybody. In fact, actually, we will highlight everybody at Sports Supreme. But just because of running out of time, I also just wanted to quickly get the fans a coaching perspective of Trey Watson. Like, I feel like the kid is just the most charismatic kid, and he's got obviously a big future coming up too.
Yeah, Adam, he is, and I'm going to go old school here for you. I don't know if you remember Charlie Ward at Florida State, who played starting quarterback, starting point guard, played baseball, and then I'll even go a little bit further than you. Bo Jackson. People know Bo Jackson. That's the Trey Watson in our school. And they used to say Bo knows, because Bo can do everything. Bo Jackson can do everything. It's Trey Watson knows. Trey Watson can play basketball. He can play football. He can do track. The kid is so talented, and he's one of the kids that doesn't need a lot of time to get into rhythm, if that makes sense. When they come over from football, there's kids that might need 6 to 7 weeks to get into basketball rhythm. He comes onto the basketball court, and he's already in rhythm within the first week because he's so talented. But you put away the talent of Trey Watson, his work ethic, and the type of kid and the parents that have raised him is above his talent. And that's when you get kids like that. And this is something we talked about at Cleveland, this group of seniors, and Trey Watson, I believe, is the leader of them. It's a crop you don't get too often to coach in the high school. And they're what we call once in a lifetime. And Trey Watson, I mean, he does everything for us. He does everything for the football team. And you know what? The success that he's going to have is just starting for him. And we're happy to see that he's going to Fresno State. And you know what? I'm just blessed to be just a little bit part of his life and help him out with that.
No. Don't underestimate yourself, man. You're a big part of his life and his growth. And you've done a hell of a job, Sean. So it's been fun, brother. I can't wait to personally start covering you guys and having some fun. So, best of luck, bro, and we'll see you soon here. I appreciate you joining with me.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate everything you do, man. I'd always look forward to talking to you, and hopefully we'll see you out in the court and the football field soon, man.
Hey, and if you want to get beat one-on-one, Sean, maybe I'll put myself out there. I don't know.
All right, we can do that.
All right, brother. I'll see you, man.
Have a good one, man. Later.